Ik sta nu hier bij Catchoom en ik ga praten met de ondernemer van dit bedrijf. Catchoom is een bedrijf dat gespecialiseerd is in AI en dat doen ze ook voor bedrijven in de mode. Wat ik onder andere van Catchoom wil weten, hoe AI vrienden kan zijn met vakmanschap.
With AI is that we can reduce its definition to a tool that allows us to classify and forecast behaviors based on data. So it allows us to do tasks that would require a person to look at a lot of data and then start to create segmentations or start to identify patterns and trends. Okay, so it can be used for different tasks, and if we think about fashion in particular, or online fashion more specifically, we can understand that the challenges have to do with managing customer data, managing purchase behavior, identifying trends in the market or in the purchase attitude of consumers. And I think, to what respects to Catchoom, we also use it for generating the descriptions of the products, right? So being able to, something that is very manual, very labor intensive, to reduce this task by using all the information that is available from images. But AI in general, I think that is very well suited for everything that has to do with personalization, with everything that has to do with recommendations. So facilitating the purchase. Huh? Mm-hmm. And then if we think about how this tool, this AI, can be used at the shop, I think there has started to be experiences around empowering the sales assistants with information. So when they meet a person that is entering the shop, they already know a little bit about this person's past experience and preferences, and it helps guide this person through the shop, no? Typically you will it's not only AI, you will use other tools, no? So you have to have a mechanism to identify the person typically, and to some extent have a profile of this person, no? But there are mechanisms to do that. But once the person is in the shop, what you want this person is not only to know, okay, this is Maria and she's 1 meter 60 tall and size whatever, but more of, okay, what was the past purchase based on other people's purchases that have to do with what she's buying, what is probably things in the shop that would fit her, do I have her size on the shelves, so this kind of merging all the information together and predicting what's the most possible outcome of that visit to the shop.
And do I understand you well that AI supports actually craftsmanship? If you use AI as retailer, retailers and fashion designers are craftsmen, mm-hmm. In my opinion. Mm-hmm. And AI can support to make those the craftsmanships more visible. Is that right?
Yes, I think there's different levels at which craftsman's work can be more visible with AI. So AI can be used as an inspiration tool. Okay, so understanding, okay, what colors, what patterns, what attributes are becoming more trendy or are becoming more interesting, such that the designer has an input from market trends. And then if we tailor to the person that we want to design some specifics for this person, we can understand that AI will give us visibility about what's specific about this person. When is she? If we go very deep into the profile of the person, we could even know, okay, which type of clothing does she wear in certain occasions. So that again helps having a more fluid communication. The person might not know how to express what they want, and AI is kind of a way to ask those questions based on data. Yeah?
Okay. And how does AI help to engage the relationship? Does AI have a role in that process?
So AI at the moment is present in almost all the, let's say, technologies in the ecosystem of retail and fashion. So I would say yes, as a general concept. So if we start thinking about so everything that has to do with advertising online is more and more, it's getting more and more sophisticated thanks to AI. So all what was previously very, let's say, basic, if you had visited this shop, we can show you ads in other web pages that promote you to go back to that shop online. But this is getting more sophisticated, and then what I mean by this is that for instance, Facebook ads or Twitter ads are becoming more sophisticated. So based on what you comment, based on the discussions that you're having, they can lead you to a certain brand. So that the ads that you see in your timeline become more relevant to you. And this is thanks to AI. Okay, how a brand can use AI specifically to drive consumers' attention to their shop, I think it always will have to rely on some partner that does this kind of advertising that leverages on the brand's presence and uses AI to facilitate this. So I guess the most important aspect would be here to accept that the data that the retailers have is very powerful, and it can be used in different places by different vendors in the ecosystem. So having rich data, structured data, both on the catalog information and on the customer relationship, is a wise approach, because AI relies on data. So if you have this mindset clear, then you can facilitate whatever piece of the flow you want to enhance.
If companies in the fashion wants to survive this changing era, what should they do?
Okay, so that's a relatively broad question, no? So, for instance, everything that has to do with fast fashion, no? So if we understand that there's no longer 2 seasons, but there's kind of a continuous season, those who want to be at the edge of their performance, or they want to really maximize their chances, I think that they probably want to do 2 things. One is what I was referring to before, so embracing the idea that having structured data in the catalog and in the customer relationship is worth it, because then you can exploit it. And the second one, and probably most important, to be really producing what's going to be sold, is using techniques that allow to predict trends based on what the customers are purchasing. So there has been a lot of effort in fast fashion to use previous purchases to anticipate, okay, next week I should have this new clothes that resembles the one that has been selling so well. I think now the techniques with AI is going one step forward and maximizing what's going to be the trend in 2 months or in 3 months. So I think that everything that has to do with predictions and predicting something that is specifically personalized to that person will help retailers be on the edge of those changes.
Okay, but I think my concrete question in this matter is, will the companies in the fashion survive this changing era without AI?
Okay, I think there's no escape to AI, okay? But I think that the point is that if we understand that retailers and brands, and actually it's not only specific of fashion, I think that in any exchange environment you have an ecosystem of players that help you. And what I mean is that there's I would say 100% of technology players right now use AI for different values, for different value propositions. So I think that retailers cannot escape using AI, and they should embrace more technology. It's not going after technology for the sake of technology, not going after AI for the sake of AI. It is more about understanding that you have a certain dynamics that will have higher performance thanks to using data and AI.
I am in a network of companies in the fashion. how can they improve themselves that they know what they want?
Okay. So I guess, so if we focus on the online part of the business, right, for a second, I think that in online there are a certain number of dynamics that have to do with first attracting consumers to the site, then helping them find the products, and last but not least, converting them, right? So at the end, there has to be a basket and a purchase process that is seamless. Then, of course, there's the experience after the sale, which has to do with returns and the experience if the products are delivered home. So I think that the question, the main question that a retailer or an online seller could consider is where in these few steps I have the bottleneck. So if the bottleneck is on, say I have a catalog of 10,000 SKUs and it seems to be difficult for consumers to buy beyond what is shown on the front page, you probably have a personalization problem. You probably have to figure out ways for the consumer to see things that are more related to them. And it can start with something that is very basic as, I'm a woman, so show me only things that are related to me. Or if it's, or if you go deeper in the experience and you're already visiting a product that is a night dress, even if I'm a woman and I bought some stuff for my kids, don't recommend me shoes for my kids when I'm looking for a night dress. So the questions to ask have to do with where in the journey of the consumer do you have a problem? And if you're looking for personalization and recommendations, this has to do with the experience on the site, right? Then you will have AI on delivery, for instance. So you have companies that allow you to have very smart ways of distributing your packages such that when they are delivered faster, for instance, no? So all those shipping orders are faster to execute and much more optimized. So that would mean that you should have identified that you have a problem with that and that it is not orchestrated in a way that is smart, no? So then you will have to look for vendors that operate in that space of making shipping orders much more efficient. Then if I go back to the beginning of the customer journey and I say, okay, how do I attract more consumers because I don't have enough visitors to my site? Then you will have to find ways to promote in the right channels in a way that is personalized and how to connect those pieces. So probably you look for an agency that helps you place ads in different social media in a smart way based on the data that you have. So my point is that it's not about going to a single vendor and asking, okay, fix this with AI. That would be like asking for a use of a technology without knowing what for. I think that the common sense is here to say, okay, in my flow, in my customer journey, where do I have problems? And then go for the vendor that tackles those in particular.
And how can a fashion entrepreneur know that you are the right person, that your company is the right company?
Mm-hmm. So, well, I would say, so we all as vendors try to maximize our position online to be able to be found, right? So what I mean is that we all have our content strategy to position certain keywords. In principle, as vendors should be able to talk about the keywords the same way the retailer or the brand would search for on the internet, okay? So what I mean by this is that, so for instance, we work on product tagging. So product tagging is this generation of tags, descriptive tags like the type of color, the type of sleeves, based on the images of the product. Now, you may say, well, as a retailer, I don't know that I have to Google product tagging, and that is fine. If you look for automatic product descriptions, for instance, or metadata for product information, I am responsible for facilitating that you find us online. Then, of course, you have trade shows and matchmaking events. As here at Catchoom, we use quite intensively matchmaking events that have this mix of shared experiences, so talks about shared experiences with vendors, and then of course a matchmaking with those vendors. So I think that having a clear list of the topics that you would like to cover, and you will surely find them online. One thing that is important though is, so AI is broad and you have, I would say, parcels of vendors doing specific things. So if you want to know if you're speaking with the right one, and you may want to know, okay, what's the performance that I can expect from AI? One thing that I can tell you is that there is no vendor out there that provides 100% accuracy. Okay, that could be even a myth. It's not realistic, but even if it was realistic, I think that the important part is that you manage expectations that AI will assist the process. AI will help, will enhance, will improve, but it's not a substitute. So all the intelligence of your business that the team has, all the experience, this is an asset and it's worth using it, even in conjunction with what the technology does for you, okay? So feel free to Google for your keywords, like, okay, can I automatize this? Can I automatize that? Can I optimize this? In principle, as vendors should provide the right positioning such that when you Google it, you find us.
I want to matchmake you with my network on LinkedIn. And can you give a call or what kind of cooperation are you searching for in the Netherlands? And what kind of companies?
Okay.
Because I know you have already worked with, sorry, I'm interrupting you. You already work with KLM and Scotch and Skoda, which I saw on your, in your speech.
Yes, so for product tagging, for those automatic descriptions from images, our value proposition is basically generate this metadata that then will help both the consumer to see valid information about the product, and also on the customer journey. So elements like search, recommendation, or even filters will be enhanced thanks to this. So if you're a brand or a retailer that has either no team or a small team doing this work of generating the copy, the descriptions manually, and typically not necessarily in a digitized way, we can help with that. So we can help because we offer a product information management system that can help you have a single source of truth, so all the data in a single place, and also assist you with AI, that instead of you manually entering all the input from scratch, it already generates a set of attributes out of the box. In the Netherlands, we have already customers like Scotch and Soda who use us specifically to reduce the time spent on this production of data. We are looking for other companies, whether they're larger or smaller, that do online sales for fashion, and to whom we can help with this production of data in a sophisticated way, but at the same time saving costs and enhancing the customer journey.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you very much, David.
Thank you, Fatima.
Yeah, for this content. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
So, give you a hand. Thank you.